So today is October the 9th. We've spent the first 5-10 minutes cleaning out binders today. They can clean out everything out of their binder, and this should be the fresh first piece of paper in there. Thank you. We had just started, and we filled in this first one with change mixed numbers into improper fractions when dividing fractions. Definitions. These first 6 things are going to be on the test Friday. So I'm just trying to give you a hint. Okay, number 2. A whole number and a fraction create, what's that thing called? All that together. Mixed number. Yes, that's what they mean. A whole number and a fraction create a mixed number. That's all that one is. Okay. The 2 in this fraction is the numerator, and the bottom is the denominator. And this should all be review. It was kind of in our notebook before today, and since we knew you probably just trashed it, we are redoing it real quick. Okay. Number 4, blank is an expression that is written as a numerator over a denominator and separated by a line. It's easier than you think it is. What is it? Fraction, yes. It's kind of silly. Like you kind of go, is that all that is? Yes, it's just a fraction. It has a numerator, it has a denominator, and it's separated by a line. Okay, number 5. Blank is the top number in a fraction that tells how many units a fraction contains. Numerator. Numerator's on top, guys. Numerator's on top. This is the new part. Number 6. Okay, so you should have known 1 through 5, to be honest. 6 is kind of the new stuff starting today, Tuesday the 9th. Okay, all it is when we divide fractions, we don't divide them. We're going to change them into multiplication problems. The only way we can change them is we can change the sign to multiply if we flip over the second fraction. So I want you to look. 7/5 flipped over, which isn't easy to say, is 5/7. Do you see how these two are just flipped over back and forth? Do you see that? 5/7, 7/5. Okay, listen. It just has a fancy name called reciprocal. I call it flipping the fraction over, but the fancy name is reciprocal. So 7/5 is the reciprocal of 5/7. Reciprocal is used in division. We use it in division. And it's kind of like how we change it back to a multiplication problem. It's just a fancy word for flipping it over. Easy breezy? Okay. Now, there are 4 steps in dividing fractions. The last 2, it matters if you cross-simplify or not. Okay, so the first step is, I'm going to call it, I call it get rid of all whole numbers or change mixed and whole numbers to improper fractions. Change mixed and whole numbers to improper fractions. To be honest, you've already done this. Like, this is what we did last week. That was a mixed number. We did the backwards C and we changed it to 5/2. If we saw a number like 8, we knew we had to take 8 and put 8/1. Yeah, we slung it over a 1. All it's saying is step 1, we got to get rid of all those whole numbers. That's all it means. Okay? You good so far? Sure, Miss Donahue. Okay, step 2. Step 2 is we're going to take the second fraction. I was trying to think of how I worded it. And change it to the reciprocal. All it means is we're going to take the second fraction and flip it over. That's all that means. Easy breezy. Third and fourth step. This is, I don't know. I am hoping that by the end of today and this week that you cross-simplify next. Meaning that you start doing the cross-simplifying. But if you like the big numbers and you like to multiply straight across, your step would be multiply and then simplify. It's kind of up to you. It matters if you like cross-simplifying or not on those two. So I'll show you an example to kind of help you out. It's so easy. Like, this kind of makes it look scary because it's a lot of words, but it's real easy. Okay, now this last little chunk of space we're going to use. Here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to give you like one example. Here we go. So let's say we have the fractions, and I'm just making this up, 2 3/4 divided by 2. Okay. So write that down. Copy my problem. It's funny how 5 people just started writing. Okay. Listen, you have to have notes to kind of go back and know what to do. Notes and math are example problems. Okay, step 1, we write the problem. Okay, officially step 1 up here was, now we need to do what? Get rid of these whole numbers, right? Just like last week, same thing. We're going to multiply, in case you've forgotten, I'm going to write it down. The denominator times the whole number. That gives us 8. We're going to add in the top, which is 3. So 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3. 11 over 4. We're going to keep the denominator the same. Okay. Keep the division sign for just a second. Do not try to skip steps. Okay. Now, we're going to put 2 over 1. Okay. You now have it set up kind of pretty. There's just tops and bottoms. We're good to go. But here's the thing. Because it is division, we have got to do something goofy called keep, change, flip. Or KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, even though the letters are backwards. Okay? And I realize the letters are backwards because we're going to do keep, change, flip, and it's CF, not FC. But most kids remember it by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anyway, okay, so we're going to, the next step is we're going to change this thing to multiply, basically. Okay? We're going to keep 11/4 just the way it is. We're going to keep it just like it is. It's beautiful, it's perfect, it's done. We are going to change the division to multiply. Keep, change, flip. And we're going to flip over this last fraction. FLIP. Okay? We're going to flip it over. It is 2 once, so now it's going to be 1 over 2. Listen. Look right here. It's beautiful. Look. This is last week's box. Remember when I kept asking you last week, like, look in the box. Can you cross-simplify? You're there. This is what last week's looked like. Can you simplify that one, though?
Yes.
What would simplify? No. We need a top and a bottom, right? These two look like it, but it has to be a top and a bottom. Okay. So we can just now multiply straight across. It's kind of nice. It's just like last week. 11 times 1? 11. 4 times 2? 8. How many 8s are in 11? 1. How many's left over? 3 out of 8. And you are done. There is no division really. It's all like multiplied. If you will stick with me, like the steps will get kind of embedded in your brain and it'll stick. Okay? I'm going to shorten it. Like you don't write keep, change, flip every time. I do KCF. It's like I just do the letters. I am going to give you a couple words of advice. Okay. I personally go across the paper. It does take notebook paper to do it, meaning I use notebook paper. I have been overly nice to some of you about handwriting skills. And I don't even mind that I'm videoing right now because I want parents to know. Some of you, listen, I use lined paper when I do this up on this projector because I want you to kind of see what it should look like on notebook paper. I need you to number them. I need them to look pretty, decent. You know what I mean, Gene? Y'all are in 6th grade. So if I start kind of getting on you about handwriting, it's just because I care about you and the teachers after me won't deal with this. Okay, so here we go. We're going to practice. Now, don't flip out yet. We are doing 1 through 12, and we're going to mark out number 2. So give me just a second. I'll try it. Okay, got extra. Pass it over to 2 rows. Thank you. I know. 3, 4. Oh, you didn't need it either? Okay, that's fine. I have no clue. Okay, so I have asked all my classes today to do this, which is, except first period didn't get number 2 gone, but I need you to mark off number 2. Listen, mark off number 2. It's okay, listen. Mark off number 2. Okay, and I'm just drawing a line, like I want you to only go to 12. Somebody need it? Okay, only go to 12. So, I'm just trying to show you. I have begged, borrowed, and pleaded all of my students today to do this. Like, there we go. We're stopping at 12. Okay, now, I am going to do it on notebook paper, so you need a piece of notebook paper. Some of us need to restock notebook paper. Hint, hint. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to give you a second, kind of get your notebook paper out. Love it. Something else I do almost every time we do an assignment, I label it. Because that is the tab it should be behind. I put a date. Because if you'll notice, it matches the date on the worksheet. 10-9, 10-9. That way my work matches my worksheet. And if you're just dying to write it, it's 1 through 12, skip 2. But you don't have to write it. It's just... Okay. Here we go. My one situation earlier, I was trying to get into kids' papers and really see where they were making mistakes, and I couldn't read their handwriting because it was so small. Like, I'm not saying it has to be as big as mine because mine is big and fat, but it shouldn't be so small that someone has to ask you what every number is on your paper. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, just kind of letting you know. So, here we go. We'll start with number 1. 2 and 5, 6. And I'm just copying off the paper. 6 and 4/5. So I'm just copying it. Okay, so we need to change these mixed numbers to improper. I was having word problems there for a second. Okay, 6 times 2? 12 plus 5? 17. over 6, right? Everybody see how I got that? Yeah? Okay. Keep the division sign for just a second. Okay, now do this one. 5 times 6, 30 plus 4, 34. Look up here 1 second. I do need you to know this. You cannot flip-flop these fractions. You cannot have 34 fifths here and 17 sixths here, because it'll mess up the reciprocal and you'll get the answers wrong. So whatever is first needs to be first, second, second. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I have it laid out nice and pretty. I am literally going to do keep, change, flip. I put a K here for keep, and I move over here and I write 17 6. I put a C for change, and I'm going to go over here and change it to multiply. And then I put an F for flip, and I go over here and I literally flip it over to 5 34ths. I'm triple checking. I have it written the same numbers. Okay, now here is the only spot you can do the cross simplifying if you like cross simplifying. It is there when you've hit the multiplication step. So are there any tops and bottoms that simplify? 17 and 34. How many 17s are in 17? I can't talk. 1. How many 17s are in 34? 2. Nice. Now it's just like last week. I can multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 2 is 12. And it doesn't simplify anymore, so I'm good to go. Literally, the only step that's different is the keep, change, flip. It is pretty easy. And to be honest, this is the method that's been around since the dinosaurs when I was in school. Just kidding. So, I think this will, parents, once they see the keep, change, flip, it might click with them. So, okay, let's try another one. We're skipping 2, and I'm going to 3. Okay, it is 3 divided by 1 1/3. I like this one because it does have the whole number with nothing. What does 3 need to become? 3 over 1. So rewrite it nice and pretty. Keep the division sign. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4 over 3. Okay, now I can finally do keep, change, flip. Keep 3 once, change to multiply, and flip over that second fraction, which is 3 fourths. Okay, magic box of cross simplifying. Does anything simplify? No. A lot of us want to do the 2 3s, but listen, you can't simplify 2 tops. It has to be a top and a bottom. So, 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 4 is 4.
2 times.
How many 4s are in 9? 2. That's 8. So there's 1 left over out of 4s. What's wrong? What's wrong? You sure? Okay. Listen, if you need help, tell me. Okay. Try number 4, and then we'll kind of compare what we got. Number 4 is 1 3/4 divided by 3/4. Kind of do it, and then we'll kind of, as you go through it, we need to make sure we have each step. It's kind of weird, but How's it going? Any questions yet? I heard a yes. That's a good sign. I got 2 1/3. Now, if you don't have 2 1/3, let's talk about it. Because you could be on the right track. Especially if you didn't cross simplify. You might have 28/12. Listen, that's the same thing. It would be, 2 would be 24. There'd be 4/12 left, which is still 1/3. Like, all that would be the same. Anybody different than me? Got a question? Try the next one then. If you really think you've got it, like try number 5. Did you get it? Okay, try number 5 then. Don't wait on me. Interesting. Okay. Did you take the 2 and put it over a 1? Starting out? 2 once? Uh-huh. Oh, 3. Okay. Yep. So did you start out with 2 over 1? Okay. 2 over 1 divided by 37. Is everybody good there? Okay. Keep 2 once, change to multiply, flip to 7/30. Ooh, did anybody see the magic simplify? What'd you put into it? Yes. Do y'all see how that divides by 2? Yeah? Good. Like this. Every kid is different, and so some are seeing it and some aren't. It's hard on me because I want you to get the easy part. If you don't and you get 14/30, that's fine. But I personally see 2 will go into 2 once, 2 will go into 30, 15. Now I can just go straight across. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 15 is 15. And that doesn't simplify, so I'm good to go. Even if you got 14/30, all it is they were both even and divisible by 2. Okay? Okay, listen. What I'm going to do is start walking around and checking over shoulders. But your job is, we did through 5. Most classes have done through about 5. So your job is to do 6 through 12, but you've got about 10 more minutes left. Okay, about 10 more minutes left. So I'm going to stop this, but I'm going to come to you now. How about that? Okay.